Today is May 20th, and it's time for another Prophecy in the News update. This one comes from a news release through Deutsche Welle, and this happens to be a financial report from Europe. And here's the headline: Euro tumbles as European leaders scramble for solutions. You know, that headline strikes fear into the hearts of the world's business leaders. It wasn't long ago, if you recall, perhaps 6 months ago, the euro was seriously being considered to replace the U.S. dollar as the standard currency, particularly the currency by which oil was priced globally. It was felt that the dollar was perhaps shrinking, becoming too unstable. A lot of people suggested that the euro should be the currency to replace the dollar, and now we're hearing that the euro is quote unquote tumbling. And here's the Deutsche Welle article, and I quote: "Fears of an escalating financial crisis continue to push down the euro and pile pressure on Europe's political leaders. The common currency has fallen sharply against the dollar over the past several weeks. The euro slid to its lowest level against the dollar in more than 4 years on Monday, with mid-market rates dropping below $1.23 in early trading. Europe's common currency has lost about 13.5% of its value against the dollar since the beginning of 2010. And the fall is still far from over," experts say. Well, you know what's been happening in Europe? The Germans have been having problems standing in support of the euro. The Greeks are flat broke. The French are said to be not far behind, being almost flat broke. And the expectation, according to this article, economists at UBS expect the euro to drop by another dollar, or drop to $1.10 by the end of the year, just 10 cents off parity with the greenback, which would be a remarkable development on the world scene. And as the people are pointing out here, not surprisingly, gold has soared to record peaks as investors exit the single currency in favor of safe haven investments. The Europeans are leaving the euro and going to gold. I keep thinking of a prophecy by James chapter 5, where he talks about the horrific conditions that are going to exist right around the time of the tribulation. And I do believe that this is a latter-day prophecy. James chapter 5 verse 1 says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, your garments are moth-eaten, your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. You have heaped together treasure for the last days." You know, when I read that, it's basically an extension of this Deutsche Welle article that I was just reading. It's the same subject, and James wrote about it 2,000 years ago. He says, "Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth." Now, the Lord of Sabaoth is the Lord of hosts, and in that particular designation, he is the Lord of judgment. That is, the angelic hosts who sweep across the earth in judgment. James chapter 5 verse 5 says, "You have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton." Well, we've seen that. Look at all the pleasure capitals of the world. Look at all the incredible, excessive wealth all over the world. People lighting cigars with euros as just one image that might strike your mind. James says, "You have nourished your hearts as in a day of slaughter. You have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you." Well, the follow-up by James is simply this: that you'd better watch out, because if you have lived this way, the Lord is coming in judgment. If you are one of these people whose religion is wealth, you'd better watch out, because he's coming in judgment. There are a whole string of high-level meetings in Europe that are scheduled for this week. We find the heads of Europe, Sarkozy, Angela Merkel, and others, meeting together in panic meetings, trying to come up with what they're calling a rescue package. Regarding that rescue package, the European rescue package agreed in early May was greeted with initial optimism and pushed the euro up briefly. Charles Whipplitz, professor of international economics at the Graduate Institute in Geneva, referred to the package as an empty shell. They're trying everything, folks, and guess what? Nothing is working. This brings me to another prophecy in Daniel, Daniel chapter 7, verse 7, which talks about the final world empire that rises up. And I want you to listen to the words of Daniel in the context of what we have just read about the collapsing euro. After this I saw in the night visions, says Daniel, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, for it had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Of course, these horns are commonly thought of as powers, or focal points of leadership, or kings, or could we call them administrators in the present parlance. Daniel said, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots, and behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. And of course, this is generally considered to be the Antichrist, who rises to power from among the 10 horns of power. One thing to notice here, and that is that there is no peace in the rise of this fourth empire. There is infighting. There is competition. 10 powers become 7, and then one of those horns rises up and controls the 7 and becomes a despot of the first magnitude. And here's what Daniel says about this fourth beast in Daniel 7:23. And thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom on earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and it shall devour the whole earth and tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse, that is different from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times, the dividing of times. That's 3.5 years, thought to be the first half of the tribulation period. We are seeing the approach of a new global kingdom, if you will. And it's marked by the collapse of global economies. Our economy, the European economy, the Chinese economy. You may sleep at night, but there are a lot of people around the world who are not sleeping at night. They are burning the midnight oil to come up with solutions to their collapsing bubble of finance. And out of that, say all the prophets, will come the final world empire with one man standing up and saying, I can solve your problems. I can fix your money problems. Just let me have control and I'll do it. These are the days in which we live today. Gary Stearman with another Prophecy in the News update.